going to talk to you about Islam and what really Islam is and not what you'll hear. To begin with, I do want to say, as a Muslim, I've been brought up with the saying that Islam means peace. But as a nation, what do you, as a whole, tell me what Islam means, as knowing that it's just a religion, but what do y'all really think it is? And I am going to take this answer first. Any guesses? None?
I thought it was a country.
Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, well, Islam is one of the fastest growing religions in the world. Okay. Well, like it says, Islam means peace throughout the submission to God. Muslim means anyone or anything that submits itself or willing to God. Islam is not a cult. Its followers number over 1.5 billion worldwide. In fact, Islam is a complete way of life that governs all facets of life, which is moral, spiritual, social, political, and intellectual. But unfortunately, because of dictators like Qaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden, people that are really hungry for power and money is what gives us Muslims and Islam a really bad name. We have a bad reputation because of people like them. And this is just what, say 10 out of a billion people that are really like this, who really just have one thing in mind, which is just murder, blood, everything. But not everyone thinks that way. If you really think that all Muslims are terrorists and they think about always bombing and killing and all, what do you all have to say about the famous boxer like Muhammad Ali, who is a Muslim, or our current president like Barack Obama, who is a Muslim that's running a nation right now? I mean, if y'all all think, y'all, not specifically all of y'all, but I mean as different countries, if y'all all think that all Muslims do one thing, which is killing, then I think y'all need to think outside of the box. Okay, second thing that I do want to say, terrorism. Terrorism has no religion. That you can't put terrorism and Islam together, because the word terrorism itself, in the beginning, it has terror in it. And that does not mean Islam or Muslim or Christianity or Judaism, but at the point with the attacks of 9/11 and all the murders that are going around, like in Libya, in Iraq, in Iran, all these different things is what makes us look really bad as a whole. But in reality, murder, rape, stealing, anything you think that is bad is really terrorism. Terrorism has no religion and doesn't mean one thing, which is bombing or whatever in that sort. The question is, why is terrorism only linked to Islam? I can say, like, just last month when that certain American ran the plane into the IRS building, I, being a Muslim, can say, okay, now that's it, all Americans are terrorists. It's because of us that think outside of the box, and because we have the education of outside of the world, that's why we don't point fingers at anyone. But and I'm saying this as personal experience, because when I'm flying out, and I fly a lot outside of the country, and I am always, my last name is Hussein, so the first thing they do is, okay ma'am, it's a random check. Really random? So I am moved to the side, I am, just touched in every way to see if there's any bomb. Do I look like I'll be, bombing a plane or like killing people? So that's what I mean, like, that's just the bottom line of how Islam doesn't believe in killing or murder. The third thing I do want to talk about, the war we have going on right now in Iraq is known as jihad, which is also, according to everyone, known as the holy war, which in fact does not mean holy war. Instead, it means the inner struggle that one endures in trying to submit their own will of God, which really means that the word jihad doesn't mean fighting. You can have jihad in every day of life. If I'm having an issue in school, I can be like, okay, I'm going through a jihad. But that doesn't mean I'm going through a holy war like how we are known as having that war in Iraq right now. I mean, we've been fighting this war for God knows how many years. What are we getting out of it besides our own troops? And I say our own because I am an American citizen. I do feel like I am an American, but I'm an American Muslim. I do feel like our troops are fighting out there and getting nowhere. It's because of our bad dictatorship of, well, Saddam Hussein's not in, place anymore, so thank God of that. But I'm talking about Libya. I mean, he gave extremely good points about Qaddafi and how his rules and regulations are to running a country. I mean, that itself is such a shameful act of the way he lives his life every day. To kill someone because they don't listen to him, that's not what it means. He is not a Muslim. In fact, I can say he's a terrorist, since he has so many acts of, in attacks and all these weapons and stuff like that. Also, another thing I had in mind was that, talking about this, if anyone, walking down the mall or anything, you see someone with their head covered, and then you're like, okay, yeah, she's a Muslim, of course. I mean, the reason why we cover our head is because it's just to be modest. And it's called a hijab, which is the head covering, is only modesty and a decree to please God. And not because of anything else. Christianity has that as well. Like Mother Teresa, all the nuns that they cover their head. I mean, I know so many Nigerian women that cover their head, and they are like decked out, covered from top to bottom. What is that supposed to mean? I mean, like, just because your head is covered, everyone thinks, okay, yeah, they're about to bomb or whatever is going on. In fact, 9/11, I was in junior high. I can't even imagine, like, I've always come up with a positive attitude living at home and stuff. I mean, wars and stuff I've heard about. But when 9/11 happened and I was walking down my hallway in front of the library, this white football player of our team just walked right past me and goes, "I know y'all did it." And I was like, I wasn't even aware of what was going on. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Yeah, we know y'all did it. It was your family that did it." And I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Then the class I was going to was when they turned on the news and they said 9/11 happened, the Twin Towers were attacked, and that's when it like struck me that from the beginning of 9/11 till all Muslims die at one point and the world ends, we are going to be living the name of Islam, but with the word terrorist at the end. And my point today basically is to tell you that we're not all like that. In conclusion, as a Muslim, my religion doesn't mean killing or war or blood attacks or nothing like that. In fact, it's just one word: peace. That is to come, for all of us to come together and, to being able to stand here in front of all of y'all to explain my religion and to explain that we are not all bad people. I feel like not everyone can do it in a sort of way to prove their point. I mean, because I know that there's so many Muslims out there that are scared to even say anything because they're scared to, that something will happen, they'll get murdered, or, whatever it is. But today my point was just to say that just because I'm a Muslim, that does not mean I'm a terrorist. Also, another thing, before I end, I want to add, there is a movie, it is an Indian movie, but it has the English subtitles, and most of the movie is in English. So I do recommend everyone to watch it. It's called My Name is Khan, and it's just pretty much my presentation is that movie, if you want to see it in a movie sort of way. I would only recommend it to all non-Muslims to watch it, only because y'all can realize that who we really are. And whether you're disabled or you can't talk or you're physically impaired or whatever, that doesn't mean that we mean bad for everyone. So that's pretty much what I wanted to prove to everyone today. Anyone have any questions?